Hey, what's up, guys? Just a quick message. Hopefully, it can help you and encourage you throughout your day. So, I'm studying Mark chapter 14 this morning, and I had to share this, man. It was too good. I had to share this. So, you ever been in the grocery store, and have you ever heard this question or this statement? A parent's in the grocery store, a child's just being a child, but the parent's talking to that child like he's an adult, right? And they start yelling. The child gets louder, the parent gets louder, and they ask this question: what's wrong with you? What's your problem? What's wrong with you? And the louder the parent gets, the louder the kid gets, right? We've all heard it, we've all seen it. Sometimes it's very interesting. We can do that with each other and we have no idea we're doing that. We have no idea. Remember in Mark 14, the woman with the alabaster flask, which was expensive, broke that flask, verse 3, and started pouring that on Jesus. And then in verse 4 and 5 of Mark 14, check this out for yourself. The disciples get angry at her. We could have sold this. We could have sold this stuff. Why did you do that? But then notice what they did in verse 5. And then they began to criticize her sharply. Isn't that very interesting that when we criticize people, we never do it in one point? We have to criticize their action of what they are or aren't doing, and then we start criticizing them as a person. Isn't that interesting? We can never stay in one lane. We always gotta make it bigger and louder, just like that parent in the store, don't we? Interesting. But notice what Jesus said. We always want to see how to handle things like Christ. Jesus said in verse 6, leave her alone. Why are you troubling her? Now, is there a time and a place to be firm? Absolutely. Yeah, we're not doing that. No. You're not doing that. No, we're not. There's a time and a place for that. There's a time and a place. But notice what Jesus is saying. Leave her alone. And why are you troubling her? Isn't it interesting that the criticism that the disciples gave her and then them looking at her different, Jesus said, why are you doing that? Notice verse 8. This is how Jesus shut the whole situation down. Jesus said, she has done all that she could do. I'm gonna be honest, guys, it's taken me some time to see this, but isn't it interesting? And I want you to think about this honestly. The times in your life that you have been angry, that you have been upset, that you've been mad, that your thoughts have been all over the place. Isn't it very interesting if you're honest, that the reason why you were in that thinking was because somebody didn't do what you wanted them to do, or they didn't do it in the way you wanted them to do, right? But notice what Jesus is saying. Jesus said, leave her alone because she did all she could do. So as we grow and mature, we have to understand the family, the brethren, the people that we come in contact with, our friends. Sometimes, unfortunately, if you look back honestly, there were times where people gave and they did stuff, but you wanted more. But did we ever consider they're doing all they could do? They're doing all they could do. But in our minds, what do we say? Well, I would do more. I know other people that would do more. That's great. But guess what? They're not them. So we have to look at things like Christ. Christ said she did all she could do. And guess what? That's enough for me. So the mindset I think that I'm trying to develop, and I hope that you want to develop, I don't care if a little kid gives me a piece of paper and it has my name on it. I'm going to act like that thing is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Why? Because that's the best they could do. And I'm going to let them know that's great. If an adult does the same thing, I don't know if this was the last thing that they could give me. I don't know if this is the last of what they have. I have no idea the backstory. I just know they decided to give me something. And I'm going to be grateful. Why? Because you've done all you can do. So you see how when you start training your mind to do this, then you start to untrain your mind of wanting people to do way more than what they can do. Now, should we grow? Should we develop? Should we get better? Should we? Yeah. And Jesus is not condoning that. He understands about growth. But in the moment, as people are growing, as your friends, as your family, as the brethren are growing with you, if this is all they could do right now, I'm thankful. Thank you. Guess what? That's humility. And maybe we need just a little bit more of that. Thanks, guys. Love you guys.